ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಾ ಕಂಡ್ಯ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಾ ಕಂಡ್ಯ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ ಗೊಲ್ಲ ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಾ ಕಂಡ್ಯ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಕೊರಳೊಳು ವನಮಾಲೆ ಧರಿಸಿದವನೇ ಕಿರುಬೆರಳಲಿ ಬೆಟ್ಟವನೆತ್ತಿದನೆ. ಕೊರಳೊಳು ವನಮಾಲೆ ಧರಿಸಿದವನೇ ಕಿರುಬೆರಳಲಿ ಬೆಟ್ಟವನೆತ್ತಿದನೆ. ಇರುಳು ಹಗಲು ನಿನ್ನ ಕಾಣದೆ ಇರಲಾರೆ, ಇರುಳು ಹಗಲು ನಿನ್ನ ಕಾಣದೆ ಇರಲಾರೆ. ಮರುಳು ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಮುಂದೇನು ದಾರಿಯು ದಾಸಯ್ಯ ಚೆಲ್ವ ಪೊಂಗಳಲೂದುವ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಹಾಗೆ ಪೋಗದಿರು ದಾಸಯ್ಯ, ಹೊನ್ನುಂಗುರ ಕೊಡುವೆನು ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡದಿರು ದಾಸಯ್ಯ, ಸಿರಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಸಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡದಿರು ದಾಸಯ್ಯ, ಸಿರಿ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ರಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡದಿರು ದಾಸಯ್ಯ, ರಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡದಿರು ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ತಂಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡುವೆನು ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಾ ಕಂಡ್ಯ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಾ ಕಂಡ್ಯ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ, ಗೊಲ್ಲ ಕೇರಿಗೆ ಬಾ ಕಂಡ್ಯ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ. ಊರಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ದಾಸಯ್ಯ.
Sahana bhavatu Sahano bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidusura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Hari Om and prostrations to one and all. In the last class, we were seeing verse number 33. So the next term to be discussed is Aham eva akshaya-kālaha. Aham eva akshaya-kālaha. I alone am the inexhaustible time. According to Vedānta Shastra, Kala or time is considered to be illusory. Time and space, they are illusory. They are the products of the mind. They appear when the mind appears, and they disappear when the mind disappears. But this Kala is called as Vibhuti of the Lord here. So what is Vibhuti? Bhagwan, out of his Maya Shakti, the power of Maya, he has made this creation. So since creation is the Vibhuti of the Lord, so whatever is there in the creation also must be Vibhuti. So in creation we find time and space. Bhagwan says, this time is my special Vibhuti. This time is me alone. It is my manifestation alone. Kalaha. In our Hindu scriptures, we have a beautiful way. The smallest time unit and the largest time unit, both are there in our Purānas. What is the smallest time duration? So it is said in Bhagavatam, the time taken for the sun rays to sweep across one atom is the shortest time duration. So as the sun rises and sets, as the sun moves across the earth, the rays sweep across the earth. So when these rays sweep, how much time does it take for it to cover one atom? This time is called anukāla, the smallest time. And from this, all the other times are derived. The minutes and hours and days and years. Interestingly, you will find that in English, it is called as hour, H-O-U-R. This hour actually has come from Sanskrit. So they say this hour has come from the term hora. Now what is this hora? It is nothing but ahorātra. In that ahorātra, if you take away the first letter and the last letter, a and tra, what remains is hora. So from this term hora has come hour. Ahorātra means day and night. Ahaha and ratra, day and night. And it is also said that the first person who had divided the day in 24 hours and the hour in 60 minutes, he is the Indian astronomer Varāhamihira. So all these things that we have today in Western time system, they are all from the ancient Hindu scriptures. So the smallest time is the time taken for the sun's rays to sweep across one atom. And what about the largest time? Oh, so we have these yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. So Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. Dwapara is 2 times Kali. Treta is 3 times Kali Yuga, and Satya Yuga is 4 times Kali Yuga. So together they are called Chatur-yuga, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. And together they are total of 43,20,000 years. This is called as one Chatur-yuga. And it is said the creator Brahmājī, his one full day is 2,000 Chatur-yugas. It is his one full day. And when he lives for 100 years, this is his lifespan, 100 years. So you can just imagine. His one day is 2,000 Chatur-yuga. This way he lives 100 years, with each year having 360 days, 365 days. So if you calculate, it is roughly around some 3 crore human years. So this way, the smallest time unit and the largest time span, both are present in Hindu scriptures. And it is said, now why am I discussing all this? It is said, Mahāvishnu's one blink equal to one Brahmājī. This 3 crore years, whatever it is equivalent to one blink of Mahāvishnu. What it means is, as far as Mahāvishnu is concerned, the time duration is eternal. So in that eternal time span, even the lifespan of Brahmājī, the one who lives the longest number of years, even his lifespan is negligible nothing. Ahamiva AKSHAYA-KāLA. And what is the speciality of this Kala? The speciality of time is it is akshaya, inexhaustible. Everything and being, they get exhausted in time, but the time remains inexhausted. So that's why this beautiful verse is there in Vidura Niti. Vidura is advising Dhritarashtra, and there a beautiful verse comes which says, Kālah pachati bhūtāni Kālah samharate prajaha Kālah supteshu jagarti Kālo hi duratikramaha. It says, Kālah pachati bhūtāni. Every being is cooked by Kāla. Kāla samharate prajaha. It destroys all beings, including human beings. Kāla supteshu jagarti. When every being is asleep, there is one entity which never sleeps. It is ever awake. What is it? Kālaha, this time. Kālo hi duratikramaha. No one can conquer Kāla this time. Even in pralaya, this Kāla continues. When the whole creation dissolves, the Kāla remains. How do we know the Kāla remains? Because the next creation has to start. So there has to be a specific time duration. So after pralaya, again Srishti has to come. But after how much time will it come? So therefore, there is a specific time duration. So that itself shows that the time doesn't get annihilated even in pralaya also. So that's why it is called AKSHAYA-KāLA. Everything gets exhausted in Kāla, That's why the name of Kala is Kalo Jagat-bhakshaka, it is said. Kalo Jagat-bhakshaka. It is the one which devours the whole world and remains unaffected. How do we see the functioning of the time? How do we know that the time has passed? So it is the change that happens in and around us that makes us aware that time has passed. Ayurnashyati pashyatam pratidinam yatikshayam yauvanam. It is said. Look at yourself. What happens? We are getting old. The young body is slowly getting transformed into old body. And then we say, oh, I am so many years old. So it is a change which makes us aware of the passage of time. Even at the seat of meditation also. When the thoughts change, we are aware of time. But if suppose in Samādhi, if a person is able to still the thoughts, arrest the thoughts, then that person will not be able to know the passage of time. And this is what happens in deep sleep also. Why is it that we are not aware of the passage of time? It is because the thoughts have been stilled. So in sleep and Samadhi, we are not aware of the passage of time because there is no change. So it is a change which makes us aware of the passage of time. Right. Ahameva AKSHAYA-KāLA. The next term, dhātāham vishvato mukha. So Bhagavan says, aham dhātā. Vishvato mukha. Vishvato mukha means facing in all directions. I am that entity facing in all directions. I become dhāta. Now dhāta can have so many meanings. One meaning is I am Brahma. Lord Brahma, the creator, and he has 4 faces in the 4 directions, therefore he is Vishvato Mukha. So I am that Brahmājī who is the creator of the universe, who is having faces in all directions. This can be one meaning. Another meaning is Dhata can also mean sustainer, supporter, Dhata. Now this meaning also is beautiful. So it is Bhagavan who supports all of us. There are infinite factors necessary to sustain life upon earth. All those infinite factors, whether air, water, temperature, so many factors are there outside, so many factors are there inside. Every organ, every limb has to function. Every cell has to function. So there are so many factors necessary to sustain life. This is one thing. Again, there are needs. There are physical needs. There are emotional needs. There are intellectual needs. There are spiritual needs. There are financial needs. There are social needs. So many needs are there. So all these needs are met by the Lord. Each and every being is taken care. And taking care means what? All these factors have to be taken care. So if you have to take care of all these factors, you will have to become Vishvato Mukha. Meaning paying attention to everything. Seeing to every aspect. Mukha means paying attention there. Vishvataha means in all directions. So I am the one who is sustaining every living being, everything in this world, paying attention to every minute detail and the need. Dhātāham vishvato mukha. Now dhāta can also mean Karmaphala-dātā. Karmaphala-dātā, the one who gives the results, the fruits of our action. Why is Bhagavan able to give this fruit? Because he is Vishvato Mukha. He knows everything. What all actions we have done, what all karmas we have done, where we have done, when we have done, to whom we have done, how much we have done, how long we have done, with what intention we have done, with what intensity of intention we have done. So since Bhagavan is the one who knows everything, because he is a witness, Vishwato Mukha means what? He knows everything. Because his Mukha is everywhere. So Dhata means I am the Karmaphala-dātā. Every being gets the Karmaphala because there is one Bhagavan who knows everything. Karturajñaya prapyate phalam. So this way I am Karmaphala-dātā also. Moving on to the next verse, verse number 34. Mrityu sarvaharascaham udbhavascha bhavishyataam kirtishrirvakcha narinam smritirmedha dhriti kshama. Mrityu sarvaharascaham udbhavascha bhavishyataam kirtishrirvakcha narinam smritirmedha dhriti kshama. Yes. Mrityuhu sarvaharaha cha aham. So who am I? Bhagavan says, I am Mrityu, death. And what is the nature of death? Sarvaharaha, the one which takes away everything from us. That is how Mrityu is defined. What is death? Death is that which takes everything from us. So what are the things which death takes away from us? First of all, our physical body itself is taken away. Then our home is taken away, our relatives, our friends, our neighbors, our land, our bank balance, possession, position, name, fame, identity, personality, everything is taken away from us. So that is why its name is Sarvahara. Of course, there are certain things which Mrityu cannot take away. What are they? My samskaras, Mrityu cannot take away. My punya papa karmas, Mrityu cannot take away. My mind, the samskaras filled in the mind, Mrityu cannot take away. My sukshma shariras, karana sharira, Mrityu cannot take away. So there are so many things which Mrityu cannot take. But as far as the externals are concerned, external things are concerned, things which others can see, Mrityu can definitely take away everything from me. Mrityu sarvahara. So that is why the wise people say, since this mind, since all these samskaras, since all these divine virtues will ever remain with you, so therefore invest your life in cultivating that which Mrityu cannot take away. So there is a beautiful Sanskrit verse also, it says, when you die, your wife at the most, she may come up to the doorsteps. Your children at the most, they may come up to the cremation ground. Your physical body at the most, it may come up to the funeral pyre. But as far as your mind is concerned, it will come wherever you go. So therefore, fill your mind with all divine virtues like jnana, bhakti, vairagya, etc. Because this is a real investment which will never depart from you. Mrityuhu sarvaharaha. This Mrityu in spirituality is considered very auspicious. Though generally people consider this Mrityu as very inauspicious. They don't want to discuss anything related to death. They fear death. But as far as spirituality is concerned, we consider Mrityu as very auspicious. Very auspicious. Why Mrityu, this death is considered auspicious? It is this fear of death which makes a person humble. It is this fear of death which makes a person charitable. It is this fear of death which makes a person introspective. It is this fear of death which makes a person spiritual. It is this fear of death which makes a person dispassionate. It is this fear of death which makes a person work hard for liberation. Even the mumukshutvam is intensified with this fear of death. See, all those virtues, they come because of this death, isn't it? That sincerity in sadhana comes when we keep this death at the back of our mind. Any time we may die, so let us make use of this life very well, every moment. Let us make use of this life to escape from this thing called death. If you see, very many Mahatmas were born because of death only. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, it was this fear of death which made him enlightened. Parikshit, if you see, the moment he came to know that he is going to die in 7 days, he became such a great Tivra Mumukshu he became, that in 7 days he realized the self. Dhritarashtra also same thing happened. Vidura scares him, telling about death. And even Dhritarashtra attains enlightenment. He gives up his body in Yoga Agni. That's what Bhagavatam says. Even Nachiketa, he became extremely dispassionate in front of Yamaraj. What did he say? Api sarvam jivitam alpameva. Oh Yamaraj, whatever lifespan you give, someday or the other I have to die. So therefore I don't want any of these things which you offer. See. Even Arjuna also, in the battlefield, when he started visualizing the death of everyone, his near and dear ones, it is this death which made him a Tivra Mumukshu. So in life we see that this meditation upon death can be very auspicious for all the serious seekers of spirituality. At the seat of meditation, we must meditate upon our own death. This meditation can become very auspicious. And that is why Lord of Death, Lord Shiva, if you see Shiva, the word meaning of Shiva is auspiciousness. Everything related to Shiva is auspicious. Therefore, he is Lord of auspiciousness. Lord of Death is called Lord of auspiciousness. Shiva, everything related to him reminds us of death. Snake reminds us of death. Bhasma, it is the ashes of the cremation ground, it reminds us of death. Trishula reminds us of death. Damaru is the sound of death. All the Bhutaganas remind us of death. His dance in the cremation ground, it's a dance of death. Cremation ground itself reminds us of death. So everything related to Shiva, if you see, it is related to death. But that Lord is called Lord of auspiciousness. So for all seekers of spirituality, Mrityu is something which is supposed to be meditated upon, and it is something which intensifies our desire for liberation. In fact, if you see Bhajagovindam, which is also named as Moha Mudgara, the hammer to destroy all our delusion, if you see Bhajagovindam, very many verses are related to death only. Very many verses. The first verse itself, Samprapte Sannihite Kale, it is connected to death. At the time of death, Kalaha Kridati Gacchatyayuhu Yadyapi Loke Maranam Sharanam Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tattva jeevitam atishaya chapalam. Gatavati vayo dehapaye. Makuru dhanajana yauvana garvam harati nimeshat kala sarvam. So see, so all these verses, very many of them are connected to death. Because that is the only way in which the gurus, the scriptures, they can wake us up. Uttishtata jagrata, wake up from this deep sleep of ignorance. So how to wake a person? You have to shake that person. Death is something which shakes us. If we really pay attention to this ultimate reality of life called death, it can really shake us, wake us, and make us serious regarding spiritual pursuits. So, mrityuhu sarvaharascha. In the same breath, Bhagavan says, udbhavascha bhavishyata. Not only that I am death, I am also udbhava, origin, source, cause of birth. For whom? Bhavishyatam, for all those entities which are going to be born in the future. So on one side, I am death. On the other side, I am the source of creation. I am the source of all origins. This is beautiful. So on one side, Bhagavan is going on destroying. On the other side, Bhagavan is going on constructing, creating. He is a creator also, he is a destroyer also. So he clears the old and the dilapidated and makes space for the new. This is what he is constantly doing. Old bodies are taken away, new bodies are created. So even this death is also nothing but a rebirth. Our old body is taken away and a new body is given to us. So therefore there is nothing to fear as far as death is concerned, because death is only for giving you a fresh body so that you can continue your evolution in a fresh body, in a new set of environment. The fathers, the grandfathers, the great-grandfathers are wiped off to make place for children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. You see, because the space upon earth, the land is limited. So what does Bhagavan do? The old is cleared so that it makes space for the new. So Bhagavan's, this Leela is also called as constructive destruction. He destroys only to construct. So udbhavascha bhavishyatam. And the next one, what does Bhagavan say? Kirtihi shrihi vakcha narina smritihi medha dhritihi kshama. Bhagavan says narina, among women, kirti, shri, vak, smriti, medha, dhriti, kshama. All these 7 virtues I am. Now what does it mean here? So what it means is, so in Bhagavatam it is said, Daksha Prajapati had 24 daughters. Among 24 daughters, 5 daughters are Kirti, Smriti, Medha, Dhriti, Kshama. These were the names of 5 daughters and they were considered to be the best. Shri is the daughter of Bhrigu and Vagdevi is the daughter of Brahmājī. And they are all presiding deities of these virtues. So all these 7 are virtues and these ladies are the presiding deities, Adhisthana Devata, of these virtues. So Kirti means name and fame, Shri means prosperity, Vak means sweet speech, Smriti means memory, Medha means intelligence, Dhriti means fortitude, Kshama means patience, forgiveness. So they are all virtues, and for each virtue there is a presiding deity. Now this concept of presiding deity also has to be understood. The whole world functions based on laws. There are so many laws in this world. The whole world is functioning based on laws. Everything has got a law. So presiding deity is none other than law governing principle in that particular field. That law governing authority in a particular field is called presiding deity or adhisthana devata. For example, Kirti, let us say. Kirti means name and fame. Who becomes famous in this world? Now there is a law. Just like that, anyone cannot become famous. There are certain laws, and when those laws are abided by, then a person becomes famous. In the same way, Shri, prosperity. Who becomes prosperous in this world? There are certain laws. Everyone will not become prosperous. Smriti, memory. How can I memorize a verse? There are certain laws of memorization also. If you want to remember something, you have to follow the laws of memorization. When you follow those laws, then you are able to remember. So in this way, every aspect in this world has got certain laws. So whenever there is a law, there has to be a law enforcing authority also. It is necessary. For example, if the government has brought the law of traffic laws, then the government also will have to appoint an officer who will ensure that these laws are followed. For example, traffic police. So what is the job of traffic police? He sees to it that people stick to the traffic laws. So whenever the laws are made, a law enforcing authority also is needed. In the same way, the whole cosmos is functioning based on so many laws. So for every law, we have a law enforcing authority, law governing authority. That law governing authority is called presiding deity. So Narina means among the women deities. These Kirti, Shri, Vak, Smriti, Medha, Dhriti, Kshama, these female presiding deities I am. So please understand, these virtues, they are not meant only for women. These virtues are equally meant for men also. Now all these virtues are important because there is a connection. If you see these 7 virtues, there is a connection. What is a connection? First is smriti, memory. Whatever experiences we had, whatever things we have studied from the scriptures, we have learned from our elders, everything has to remember, has to be in our memory. We must remember them. So smriti is very, very important. So whatever teachings we have gathered from different sources, these teachings must be there in our memory. And then what we should do? Whatever these teachings are, we must intelligently live our life using these teachings. So that intelligent living is called medha. Medha means intelligence. These teachings have to be intelligently applied in our life with fortitude. Dhruti means fortitude. Constantly we have to apply this dhruti. With patience we have to apply, see, kshama. Kshama means patience. With lot of patience, lot of perseverance, with lot of hard work, we have to apply these teachings intelligently in our life. Then what will happen? Then Kirti, Shri and Vak will happen. In that case, then we will have a sweet personality. Vak, our speech will be sweet. Shri, all the prosperity also will be ours. A person with a sweet personality, living a righteous life, a service-oriented life, such a person automatically becomes prosperous. Shri. Shri also means virtues. Such a person naturally becomes virtuous. And what happens to such a person? Kirti automatically comes to that person. Kirti means fame. Kirti means love and respect from others. Everything comes to that person. So there is a relationship between all these 7 terms. Right, now we will go to the next verse, verse number 35. Brihat sama tatha samna Gayatri chandasamaham Masanam margashirshoham Ritunam kusumakaraha Brihat sama tatha samna Gayatri chandasamaham Masanam margashirshoham Ritunam kusumakaraha. Yes. Brihat sama tatha samnam. Samnam. Among the Samaveda mantras, who am I? Brihat Sama. I am that set of mantras which are called Brihat Sama. So what is the speciality of Brihat Sama? It is said, so this Brihat Sama is very melodious to chant. And also, these mantras are written in Brihati meter. That's the way these mantras are written. Brihati meter. So therefore it is called Brihat Sama. Also, these mantras glorify the Lord who is Brihat. Brihat means great. Brihat means infinite. So since these mantras are glorifying that infinite Lord, so these mantras are called Brihat Sama. These mantras are very short. There are not many mantras, only few mantras, but since these mantras are glorifying that Supreme Lord, it is called as Brihat Sama. So among Samaveda mantras, I am Brihat Sama. Next one, Gayatri Chandasam Aham. So among the Chandas, I am Gayatri. Now this term can have 2 meanings, because Gayatri has 2 meanings and Chandas also has 2 meanings. So what is the first meaning? The first meaning of Chandas is meter. What is meter? Now see, the Sanskrit language is a poetic language. So therefore we find most of the compositions in Sanskrit, they are written in verses, poetic verses. They are not prose, but they are poetic. If you see Ramayanam, Mahabharatam, Bhagavatam, all the Purānas, they are all written in poetry, in poetic language. So what is the speciality of poetry? So when you write poetry, you write statements in verses. So in poetry, we'll have to keep in mind the number of letters used in each pada, in each section. So how many letters have to be used, how these letters have to be arranged, and how many sections have to be there. So many laws are there. So therefore, there are so many ways in which these poetries can be written. This letter formation can be made. So depending upon the different ways of writing poetry, we have so many chandas. So this chandas means meters. Meter meaning the different ways of arranging the letters and forming verses. So it is said that there are around 600 chandas available in Sanskrit. 600 ways in which poetry can be written. In Bhagavad Gita, we use Anushtup Chandas. Anushtup and Trishtup. So to give some idea of how they are written, so in Anushtup Chandas we have, in each section we have 8 letters. And thus we have 4 sections, 4 padas. To give an example, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah. If you see this, it is written in Anushtup Chandas. So in Anushtup, there are 8 letters in every pada. So how is it? Sar, va, dhar, man, pa, ri, tya, ja. Sarvadharman parityajya. How many? 8. See the next one. Ma, me, kam, sha, ra, nam, vra, ja. Again 8. Aham, tva, sarva, pa, pe, bhyo. 8. Moksha, ishyami, ma, shu, chah. 8. You see, 8, 8, 8, 8. This is the style of Anushtup Chandas. So 4 lines, 8 letters each. In the same way, in Bhagavad Gita, there is another Chandas used, and that is called as Trishtup. In Trishtup, we have 11 letters, 4 padas. For example, if you see Tataf Padam Tat Parimargitavyam, if you see that, Ta, Ta, Pa, Dam, Tat, Pa, Ri, Ma, Gi, Ta, Vyam. How many? 11. So in this way, if you find all the 4 padas have got 11 letters. So 11 into 4. That is Trishtup. In the same way, what is Bhagavan saying here? Among all the meters, so many meters are there. Among all the meters, I am Gayatri meter. So here Gayatri is the name of a meter. Just like Anushtup, Trishtup, etc. So what is the speciality of Gayatri? It has got 8 letters and 3 padas. That is Gayatri. So what is this? So best example is Gayatri Mantra only. Gayatri Mantra is named Gayatri because it is written in Gayatri meter. That's the best example. So what do we find? Gayatri Mantra is Tad Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. This is Gayatri. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha actually doesn't come in Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra is only 3 lines. Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodaya. Now if you see, you will find each of these lines is 8. Tat Sa Vi Tur Va Re Ni Yam. 8. Bhar Go De Va Sya Dhi Ma Hi. 8. Dhi Yo Yo Naf Prachodayat. 8. 8 into 3. So this is called as Gayatri meter. So Bhagavan says, among all the meters, among all the chandas, prosodies, I am Gayatri. So what is speciality of Gayatri? This is one meter which is seen extensively used in our ancient Vedic scriptures. So it is very ancient, it's considered very sacred, extensively used, especially in Rig Veda. Almost, they say 25% of all the mantras are written in Gayatri Chandas. So therefore, the sacred ancient Chandas, among all Chandas, I am Gayatri. This is one meaning. Another meaning is, Chandas also means Veda mantras. So Chandasa means among all the Veda mantras, Gayatri. I am Gayatri mantra. So Gayatri can mean a meter, Gayatri can mean Veda mantra. Chandas can mean meter, Chandas can also mean Veda mantras. So among all Veda mantras, I am Gayatri mantra. Now what is the speciality of Gayatri mantra? The speciality of Gayatri mantra is, it is the essence of all the Vedas. It is the essence. So therefore, especially when this Upanayanam ceremony, the thread ceremony is done, it is this mantra which is given by the Guru to that child to chant. Veda mantra is, and that ceremony is called Brahmopadesham ceremony. Brahma means Veda. So Vedopadesham, how can you say Gayatri Upadesham is Vedopadesham? You can say Gayatri Upadesham is Vedopadesham because Gayatri is the essence of the Vedas. So that's why it is called Brahmopadesha ceremony. Brahma means Vedas. Now we should also know the meaning of Gayatri mantra. So when we see the meaning, we come to know that yes, this is the very essence of the Vedas. So what is the meaning? Dhimahi, this is the verb. We meditate upon. So vayam dhimahi. Dhimahi, we meditate upon. What do we meditate upon? Bhargaha, that effulgence, that light we meditate upon. What is the nature of that light? Varenyam bhargaha. Varenyam means worshipful, sacred. Varenyam means varaniyam, worth meditating upon. Worth meditating upon. So, tat varenyam bhargaha dhimahi. We meditate upon that. Tat means that. We meditate upon that sacred light. Now naturally a question comes, light of what? What is the source of this light? So therefore, savituhu devasya. So this light is coming from savituhu devasya, of Savita Devata, of sun god. So this light coming from sun god, Savita Devata. Savituhu devasya bhargaha dhimahi. Why are we meditating upon it? So the reason is given, yaha naha dhiyaha prachodayat. Prachodayat. This light, what is it doing? It is illumining. Prachodayat. It is energizing, enlightening, enlivening. Prachodayat. What is it enlivening? Naha dhiyaha. Naha means our dhiyaha intellects. Yaha, that which, naha dhiyaha, our intellect, prachodayat, illumines. So what is the whole statement? We meditate upon dhimahi, that effulgence, tat bhargaha, which is varenyam, which is sacred, which belongs to Savita Devata, Savituhu Devasya. And what is the speciality of that light? Yaha, that nahadhiyaha prachodayat. Prachodayat, it enlivens, nahadhiyaha, our intellects. So we meditate upon that light of Sun God which illumines our intellects. This is the meaning. Now we are all Vedantic students. So we must know what is that Sun God. Superficially it may appear that it is that Sun God, it is illumining the whole world and therefore I am able to see the world and therefore we meditate upon that Sun God. This is the superficial meaning. But what is the Vedantic meaning? This Savita Devata, Savita has got another meaning also. The creator of the world is called Savita, Savitru. So the one who has created the world. So therefore Savita Devata is none other than the Supreme Lord. So what is that light of that Supreme Lord? The light of that Supreme Lord is none other than the light of consciousness. So this Bhargaha is none other than light of consciousness which is Varenyam, which is worshipful. Why is it worshipful? It is worshipful because it is this consciousness which is the ultimate reality. It is this consciousness which is giving support to the entire world. Therefore, it is Varenyam, Varaniyam, worth choosing. Varanam means to choose. Varaniyam means worth choosing in life. Meaning, worth making it as the very goal of life. That is the meaning Varaniyam. So the life should be spent in order to realize this light of consciousness, which is the ultimate nature of Lord, which is our essence. This is the meaning. So really speaking, Gayatri mantra is nothing but the essence of the Vedas. What is the essence of the Vedas? Mahavakyas. Aham Brahma Asmi Tat Tvamasi. These are all the Mahavakyas. Gayatri mantra is nothing but Mahavakyas of the Vedas, the essence of the Vedas. So what happens when we chant it and reflect upon it? Gayantam trayate iti Gayatrihi. Gayatri. The one who chants, the one who reflects upon it, one who meditates upon it, what happens to him? Trayate. This mantra protects that person. How does this mantra protect that person? This mantra protects by making him free from the samsara chakra, birth, death cycle. This is the greatest protection. Even otherwise, if you just chant it without knowing the meaning, also it will protect, no doubt, because any mantra when chanted, it has its own power, it will protect you. But the real protection is making us free from the birth-death cycle. So among all the Veda mantras, I am Gayatri mantra. And the next one, Masanam Margashirsha Aham. Among all the months, I am Margashirsha. So here Margashirsha, this month is December-January month. Roughly mid-December to mid-January, this month is called Margashirsha. So what is the speciality of this month? They say harvest happen in this month, so therefore people are rich and prosperous and happy. Everybody is happy because after harvest, everybody is rich. And moreover, the climate is also in very many places during this month, the climate is very pleasant. Not very cold, not very hot, not very humid, not very rainy. So it's a pleasant climate also. So maybe that is the reason Bhagavan calls it, I am Margashirsha among all the months. The next one, Ritunam Kusumakaraha. Among all the Ritus, seasons, there are some 6 Ritus in Sanskrit. Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharat, Hemanta, Shishira. They are all the Ritus. So among all the Ritus, I am Kusumakaraha, the blossoming Ritu. What is that blossoming Ritu? Vasanta Ritu is called the spring season. It's called Kusumakara. What happens in this Ritu? All the flowers blossom. So the earth is very beautiful, full of fruits and flowers. So therefore Bhagavan says, among all seasons, I am spring season. Next verse we will take in the next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om